I'm Dr. Catherine Morgan, and over my 30-plus years helping men navigate their health after 60, I've seen the same story play out hundreds of times. Just last week, a gentleman named Frank walked into my office looking exhausted and frustrated. "Doc," he said, slumping into the chair across from my desk, "I feel like I'm falling apart. I'm only 63, but I feel like I'm 80. My wife keeps telling me I need to see someone, and honestly, I'm scared." Frank reminded me so much of my own father at that age, proud, hard-working, but slowly watching his body betray him in ways he couldn't understand. His energy was gone by noon. He was gaining weight around his middle no matter what he tried, and he felt like his spark was just disappearing. As we talked, something fascinating emerged. Frank wasn't dealing with some mysterious age-related decline that happens to all men after 60. Instead, he was unknowingly sabotaging his own health through 10 simple daily habits that were slowly draining his vitality, energy, and zest for life. The beautiful thing? Once I showed Frank what these habits were and how to fix them, everything changed. Within just a few weeks, he was sleeping better, had more energy, and felt like himself again. His wife called to thank me because, as she put it, I got my husband back. You see, after 6 decades of life, your body operates differently than it did when you were 30 or even 50. Think of it like a classic car. It can still run beautifully and powerfully, but it needs different care, different fuel, and more thoughtful attention. The problem is, most men keep treating their 60-year-old body like it's still 40, and that's where the trouble begins. What breaks my heart is watching good men like Frank suffer unnecessarily. They think feeling tired, weak, and over the hill is just part of getting older. They accept that their best days are behind them. But I'm here to tell you that's absolutely not true. Your body at 60 plus is capable of incredible things. I've seen men in their 70s with more energy than guys half their age. I've watched 65-year-old patients rediscover passion and vitality they thought was gone forever. The difference isn't luck or genetics. It's simply knowing how to work with your body instead of against it. The 10 habits I'm about to share with you might seem small or even innocent. You might be doing several of them right now, thinking they're actually good for you. But here's what I've learned. After 60, these seemingly harmless daily choices can quietly undermine everything. Your energy, your strength, your mood, even your relationships. The good news? Every single one of these habits can be fixed starting today. You don't need expensive treatments, complicated routines, or dramatic life changes. You just need to know what's working against you and how to turn it around. So let me tell you Frank's complete story, and more importantly, let me show you exactly what he discovered that changed everything. When Frank first came to see me, he was doing what most well-meaning men his age do, following advice that actually makes things worse after 60. Let me walk you through what his typical day looked like, and you might recognize yourself in some of these patterns. Every morning, Frank would grab a big bowl of cereal and orange juice, thinking he was eating a healthy breakfast. What he didn't realize is that after 60, your body processes sugar completely differently. That morning sugar rush was actually crashing his energy by 10 a.m. and telling his body to store fat around his waist. It's like starting your car by flooding the engine. You get a quick sputter, then everything stalls. Frank barely drank water throughout the day, only reaching for a glass when his mouth felt dry. But here's something most men don't know. After 60, your thirst signals get weaker. You can be dehydrated for hours before you feel it. Think of your body like a garden. By the time the plants look wilted, they've been struggling for a long time. Between his morning coffee, computer work, lunch, more computer time, and evening TV, Frank was sitting for 10 to 12 hours a day. After 60, sitting becomes poison for your circulation and energy. It's like putting a kink in a garden hose. Everything downstream suffers. Frank had fallen into a routine of eating the same 5 or 6 meals on rotation. While this seemed efficient, his body was missing dozens of nutrients it desperately needed after 60. Imagine trying to build a house but only having 3 types of materials. You can't create something strong and complete. Frank was a night owl, often staying up until midnight watching TV or scrolling his phone. But after 60, your body's internal clock shifts dramatically. Those late nights weren't just making him tired, they were disrupting the deep repair work his body needed to do while he slept. When Frank did exercise, he would go all out, lifting heavy weights or running hard for 30 minutes, then not exercising again for days. After 60, your body responds better to gentler, more frequent movement. It's like tending a fire. Steady, consistent fuel works better than big dumps of wood. Frank would bottle up worries about money, health, family, and work until he felt completely overwhelmed. After 60, stress affects your body much more dramatically than when you were younger. It's like a leak in your roof. Ignore it. And eventually, the whole ceiling comes down. Busy days meant grabbing fast food, frozen dinners, or just skipping meals entirely. Frank thought he was being efficient, but after 60, your body needs consistent quality fuel more than ever. Skipping meals is like asking your car to run on fumes. It might work for a while, but you'll pay the price later. Frank hadn't had a real checkup in 3 years. He figured if nothing was broken, everything was fine. But after 60, small problems can snowball quickly. It's like never checking your car's oil. By the time you hear the engine knocking, major damage is already done. This was perhaps the most damaging habit of all. Frank had convinced himself that feeling tired, weak, and old was just his new reality. He'd stopped setting goals, stopped planning adventures with his wife, and started seeing himself as someone whose active, vibrant days were over. The day Frank shared this last point with me, I saw something shift in his eyes. He wasn't just talking about feeling physically tired. He was talking about feeling like life was happening to him instead of him living life. "Frank," I told him, "what if I told you that everything you just described can be turned around? What if feeling energetic, strong, and excited about life isn't something that has to end at 60? He looked skeptical, and honestly, I didn't blame him. He'd been feeling bad for so long that good seemed impossible. But I'd seen this transformation hundreds of times before, and I knew Frank could experience it too. The solution wasn't complicated, but it was specific. Frank's body needed 3 key things that these habits were preventing him from getting: steady energy throughout the day, proper blood flow to all his organs and muscles, and deep, restorative rest that actually recharged him. I told Frank to think of his body like a river that had been dammed up in multiple places. Each of those 10 habits was like a dam, slowing down the flow of energy and vitality. Our job wasn't to fight the river. It was to remove the dams and let his natural strength flow freely again. The first thing we addressed was getting his blood flowing properly again. Think of your blood as a delivery system. It carries oxygen, nutrients, and energy to every cell in your body. After 60, this system needs extra support to work at its best. I had Frank start eating foods that naturally help blood move smoothly through his body. Dark leafy greens like spinach and kale became his new best friends. Not because I forced him to eat salads, but because I taught him to blend them into smoothies with berries and a little banana. He couldn't even taste them, but his body felt the difference within days. We added beets to his routine, roasted, juiced, or even in powder form mixed into his morning drink. Beets are like nature's highway system for your blood, helping it flow easily to every corner of your body. Frank started feeling more alert and energetic almost immediately. Pomegranate juice became his evening treat instead of late-night snacks. This ruby red fruit works like a gentle cleanser for your blood vessels, keeping them smooth and flexible. Frank loved that he had something delicious to look forward to that was actually helping his body instead of hurting it. But food was only part of the solution. Frank's body was like a car that had been parked for too long. Everything had gotten stiff and sluggish. We needed to get things moving again, literally. Instead of his old all-or-nothing exercise routine, Frank started taking 3 short walks each day, one after breakfast, one after lunch, and one after dinner, just 10 minutes each time. These weren't power walks or intense workouts. They were gentle, purposeful movements that told his body, we're active, we're alive, we're moving forward. The magic happened in those short walks. Frank's body started remembering how good it felt to move. His blood began flowing better, his energy became more steady throughout the day, and his mood lifted dramatically. It was like oiling a machine that had been running rough. Suddenly, everything worked smoothly again. We also transformed Frank's mornings. Instead of starting with sugar that crashed his energy, he began each day with a protein-rich breakfast and a special morning routine. 2 eggs with vegetables, or Greek yogurt with nuts and berries, gave his body steady fuel that lasted for hours. But here's the part that surprised Frank the most. We added one specific natural supplement that worked like a master key for men over 60. This wasn't some miracle pill or expensive treatment. It was a simple, natural compound that helped his body do what it was designed to do: deliver energy and vitality to every cell. This supplement worked by supporting his body's natural ability to open up blood vessels and improve circulation. Think of it like clearing debris from a stream. Once the pathway is clear, everything flows better. Frank started taking it twice a day, and within 2 weeks, he noticed improvements in his energy, his mental clarity, and even his mood. The beautiful thing about this natural approach was that everything worked together. Better circulation meant better sleep. Better sleep meant more energy. More energy meant more motivation to make good choices. It became a positive cycle instead of the negative spiral Frank had been stuck in. Within a month, Frank's wife was asking what had happened to her husband. He was waking up refreshed, staying energetic throughout the day, and acting like the man she'd married decades ago. Frank himself couldn't believe the transformation. "Dr. Morgan," he told me during a follow-up visit, "I feel like I've been given a second chance at life. I didn't realize how bad I felt until I started feeling good again." If you see yourself in Frank's story, I want you to know something important. You're not broken, and you're certainly not too old to feel vibrant and energetic again. What you're experiencing isn't inevitable aging. It's the result of habits that don't serve your body's current needs. Your body after 60 is capable of incredible things, but it needs the right support. It needs steady fuel, consistent movement, and most importantly, proper blood flow to deliver energy and nutrients where they're needed most. The 10 habits I shared with you today might seem small, but their impact is enormous. Every day you continue these patterns is another day you're working against your own vitality. But every day you choose differently is a day you're investing in feeling stronger, more energetic, and more like yourself. Frank's transformation didn't happen because he was special or lucky. It happened because he decided to stop accepting tired and old as his new normal and started giving his body what it actually needed to thrive. You can make the same choice. Your second chapter, your most vibrant, energetic, and fulfilling chapter, can start right now. The solution is simpler than you think, but it does require action. Your body is waiting for you to remove those dams and let your natural vitality flow freely again. Dr. Catherine Morgan, Men's Vitality Specialist. Take care of yourself, Dr. Catherine Morgan, Men's Vitality Specialist.